Okay.
Right.
Bhumika, let's start.
Okay. Hello everyone. I hope you're able to hear me. Am I audible? Yeah. Okay. We can start. I would start with by introducing our chair for the session. The name of our session is Performance and slash in Perspective. And the chair for the session is Dr. Nimishika Venkatesan. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Um, She is an aspiring theorist and nascent with a specialization in interdisciplinary and transdisciplinary studies in folkloristics. He is currently working as an assistant professor in Department of English at Sri Siva Subramanya Nagar College of Engineering, Chennai, Shivnagar Foundation. She was the coordinator of the annual international conference, Navigating the TR Juncture, ELT Literature and Culture in March 2024, which is currently sort of over now, and was the workshop convener for the pre-conference event South Asian Religion and Culture in February 2024, featuring noted folklorist Professor Ulo Wok, University of Tartu, and South Asian Studies expert Professor Amy L. Aloko, Elon University in February 2024. Her research in folklore studies and religion ranging to a decade has enabled her to explore various academic opportunities, namely conference presentations at folklore communities such as Society of Ethnology and Folkloristics, International Society for Folk Narrative Research, as well as publications. Her most recent publication being Sita's Story, Intertextuality and Folkloric Allusions in the Creation of a Desi Feminist Discourse in Nandini Sahu's Sita, which explores the folkloristic allusions in the poetic memoir of related folklorist and poet Professor Nandini Sahu. During her doctoral, she was awarded the Dora plus Erasmus Scholarship, during which she participated actively in the Department of Estonian and Comparative Folklore, University of Tartu, Estonia. She is currently a co-host of the What the Folk podcast alongside with Dr. Kiki Doma Bhutia, where they explore different terms in folklore in every episode as an attempt to make academia accessible. I would like to hand over the session to her. We welcome Vina.
Thank you, Bhumika Singh, for that very kind introduction. I'm really happy to be here, and thank you for inviting me as a chair. So first of all, I'd like to thank Ritika Malakar, Mir Masudul-Haq, Meghal Kharki, and Ms. Bhumika Singh for putting together this wonderful conference. So without wasting any time, since we've kept it really beautifully, we'll jump straight into the presentations. I really look forward to this particular session, which is on performance and in perspective. So based on the participants' request, we will first have Insha and Izhar. Are both of you going to be presenting? All right. I hope the presenters are here.
No, ma'am. Only
Insha will go last.
Only Insha.
Insha will go last, and the rest is the second and fourth have been switched. Apart from that, everything is the same.
Ma'am, we'll begin with
Oh, so the
Komal.
first goes on.
We'll begin with Komal, then we have three, then Yashasvi, and then Izhar.
And
Insha.
All right. All right. So our first presentation is by Komal Rajwansh. She's a research scholar at Ambedkar University in Delhi. Her paper is titled Singing the Liminal, Exploring Performance and Devotional Songs in Jāgaraṇa Ritual. Over to you, Komal.
Hello everyone, I hope everyone is doing great. So let me share my PowerPoint presentation. Just give me a minute. Yeah, I hope that my presentation is visible. Yeah.
Yes, and just one small note, Komal. You will have a total of 15 minutes.
15
At 14 minutes,
yeah.
14 minutes, I'll just give you a heads up so you can wind up. And we will take all the questions, but you wanted to take the questions for your session. we will take it right after. Yeah?
Sure.
No, that's Gayatri. Sorry, this jumbling is
Yes.
just, all right. So we'll have your question after the end of the session. Over to you.
Yeah. So the topic of my paper is Singing the Liminal, Exploring Performance and Devotional Song in Jāgaraṇa Ritual. So first of all, I would like to introduce what Jāgaraṇ is. So in Skanda Purana, Book 2, Chapter 13, Jāgaraṇ is described as a ceremony. So Sri Bhagwan said, "Listen, O son, I shall describe the nature of Jāgaraṇ. Keeping awake, merely by knowing it, I become easily accessible, always in the Kali age, to a devotee." So Kali age is Kali Yuga. So in Kali Yuga, if you want to access the God, Jāgaraṇ is the way. And Jāgaraṇ is it's a night vigil. You have to keep awake during the night. So the Bhagwan illustrate the way the Jāgaraṇ should be performed by the devotee. The Jāgaraṇ on the Ekadashi day has 26 characteristics as follow. There shall be vocal and instrumental music, dance, reading from Purana, burning of incense, lamb, and offering, Navedya, flower offering, scents and unguents, dedication of fruits, faith, charitable gift, control over sense organ, truthfulness, absence of sleep, gaiety, and my worship, wonderful shows, enthusiasm, avoidance of sinful action, idleness, etc. Circumambulation, prostration before God, the rite of Niranjana with the extremely delighted mind. And oh, highly fortunate one, the devotee should perform Arartika, waving of lights, and devotional hymns after every 3 hours at the end of a yama. So basically, I'm going to relate the festivity of Jāgaraṇ with the concept of liminal or communitas, which is given by Victor Turner, and the concept of the rites of passage, which is given by Kenneth. So in the as we have already seen that these are the things which a person should be adhering to if he or she is practicing Jāgaraṇa. There should be absence of sleep, there should be dance, there should be the person also has to avoid sinful action, idleness, and there should be purity. So the first step of rites of passage is separation. Separation in the sense in Jāgaraṇa also you have to separate yourself from all the tamasic desires. You have to be purified. The first step that you have to take is you have to be purified. So in the rites of passage, Genep says, thus although a complete scheme of rites of passage theoretically include preliminal rites of separation, liminal rites of transition, and post-liminal rites of incorporation. In specific instances, these 3 types are not always equally important or equally elaborated in all kinds of ceremonies, basically. So there might be 2 or 3 of them, two of them might not be the third one in a particular ceremony. So in Jāgaraṇa, the first step, so we'll go line by line: separation, transition, which is also liminal, and then incorporation. So the first step in the Jāgaraṇa is purification. So firstly, you have a Akhand Deep. There is a ghee lamp, which it represents unflickering faith and light of knowledge. There is an earthen pot which is filled of water, and you even there is a moli, a thread, a holy thread that you kind of tie around that earthen pot. It also shows purity. Then there's recitation of sacred mantras, which also shows the sattvic state of mind. So before entering the liminal, there's the pre-liminal state in the Jāgaraṇa where you have to purify yourself. And also there is a thing that they say that you should stay away from tamasic food. Tamas is darkness, so you should keep yourself before practicing. Before the ceremony of Jāgaraṇa, you should not be consuming these foods, basically garlic and onion. Why? Because these kind of foods induce lethargy, dullness, and negative emotion. And also no consumption of non-vegetarian food, alcohol, because you have to be mentally and physically pure. So the first stage is purity, which is reached through all these ways that you have to follow. Then you enter the transitional or the liminal the stage of transition or the liminal rite, which are also explained by Victor Turner. So Turner tells that, you know, in the liminal rite, when when liminality is being practiced, the structure kind of is suspended. So there is a suspension of structure. You know, this suspension is not permanent. It's kind of temporary, because after the suspension, the structure will again come into place. So the liminal kind of provide us a zone of liberation where we can liberate, and where everyone is homogeneous, equal, you know, there's a kind of camaraderie between people. So in Jāgaraṇa also, when people dance to the devotional songs, that is a liminal space where there is a camaraderie between them, there is homogeneity. You know, the performers who are performing during during the Jāgaraṇa are not necessarily from a particular caste or class. They might be from a low caste or low class. So everybody come together to perform, you know, to dance along, and to even the women can dance freely. They have this liberating space, and this is also institutionalized, as Turner says, that, you know, these liminal spaces in civilization, you know, in this era are basically institutionalized. So we have this Jāgaraṇa is an institutionalized thing, where this liminality is kind of, there is an authority which kind of gives you a space to express your desires, your inner desires, or you can dance, or you can have a space where everyone is equal, where everyone is homogeneous. So you enter from profane to sacred. So this is in this liminal space is sacred. From profane, you are entering to a sacred space. So initially you are in a profane stage, but when you perform all those purifying action, you become sacred, right? So even the dancers or the performers who are performing, they kind of also enter a sacred space, because they take on the garb of gods, and they have to behave in that manner also. So their behavior will change, everything will change. You know, they won't be like the people they were before, dressing up as God. So after dressing up as gods, they have to behave like gods. So we are entering a sacred space which has the aspect of liminality also. So you have a license to play in the liminal space. You have a license. Even everybody has the license to play, because, you know, there is a community. We all are together. This communitas. So if we can see in these pictures that this person might not be, you know, allowed to play in a normal space, but here in Jāgaraṇa, he can play along, you know, he's basically dressed up as Sudama, so he can play along with people who are around him. So this is what communitas does to us. This is what a liminal space does to us. Even a normal person whom we might not let him or her in our proximity, here he or she can sit with us, you know, he can play around with us, you know. So in this particular scene, he was just giving fruits to people and just taking away the fruit from them. So this kind of behavior is not acceptable in a normal setup. And then the devotional song, basically I am focusing on devotion, the Jāgaraṇs performed by Sikh family. So the devotional songs which we see, they are also in Punjabi language. So the content is from Hindu mythology, but the language is Punjabi. So it kind of, you know, give a syncretic dimension to the liminality. So you are in a space where different people from different religions are coming together. So it's a liminality which is syncretic, homogeneous but also syncretic. So there is a song which goes like this. जे शामा तू है नंद गाव दा मैं भी जट्टियां पंजाब दी जट्टियां पंजाब दी. So basically she's telling Krishna, if you are Nand of the Gaur village, I am also Jatti of Punjab. We know that Radha is not a Jatti of Punjab, but here she is made a Jatti of Punjab. Why? Because we have to incorporate the people from other religion as well. We are creating a syncretic space, a liminal space where, you know, people from other religion can also relate too, and they can also join in and dance. So but the other content will be very specific to the story of Radha and Krishna. For example, she's in the fifth line, she says, "Sade kolo chori chori sakhiyan bulande ho te nain ladande ho, mere naal ab tu lada ke dikha, main bhi jattiya Punjab." So she is teasing him that you call on other gopis, you know, hiding it from me. You secretly call them and you go with them to Yamuna. Yamuna is the place where Radha and Krishna used to meet. So she is, you know, she's teasing him that you do all these things, but you know, she's claiming herself to be a Jatti of Punjab. So this is kind of syncretic, which I personally feel that it is very syncretic. So this is just a minute. So this is a dance performance. I think you may be able to hear it. So here the song is in Punjab and Punjabi, and Radha is telling Sham that, you know, you are between Punjabis now. So let's just hear it. So basically, again, in this, are the songs audible?
I'm sorry, I'm not able to listen to anything.
Komal, your presentation is moving because I think they've put it on slideshow. I was trying to,
Yeah,
but it is moving.
Yeah,
No,
it's moving because I am moving it because I'm discussing all this. So
Okay.
are you able to listen these songs?
Can you play it once? Because we can't
Yeah,
listen
I'll
to
just play it. Yeah. Were you able to listen it?
No.
Komal,
Yes,
if you can turn on the presentation audio, there must be a tab or some sort of a button.
Yeah.
I think then we might be able to hear it. Komal, maybe at the mute,
Yeah.
meet window, वहाँ पे होगा.
Where?
Komal,
Open the
just go to
Google
the
Meet
chat
window.
box. There is an audio on your presentation. Just click the disable the audio icon. Right below you as host, you will see something called presentation.
Yeah.
Also share tab audio. I've clicked here. Also share tab audio. Just a minute. Just give me a minute. Now are you able to hear it?
Yes.
Yeah. So here she's claiming to be so if we can see that how the performance is very syncretic, because the language is Punjabi, the reference there is a cultural or caste reference to Sikhism, which is Jatti. Jats are basically, it's a female word for a person who belongs to Jat caste, right? And the content belongs to the rituals of the content belong to the rituals of the Hindu mythology. So there is a mixture of or amalgamation of the Hindu mythology, Punjabi language, and the elements of cultural and the cultural elements from Sikhism. So yeah, so in liminality and syncretism. So this is how, the people, they all come together. There is syncretism. The space is very syncretic. There is liminality. They can be whatever they want to be, and there is but one has to also remember that there is the communitas and structure are in dialect. So once the communitas is over, or once the liminality is over, the structure will be restored again. So Turner also says that this liberating space is only for a moment. So this will go away when the phase of liminality is over. Then there will come the post-liminality phase. So, and it will go like a cycle. You can't have liminality and then a structure. Yeah, I'm just winding it up. So yeah, so lastly there is the Tara Rani ki Katha, which happens at the end of the Jāgaraṇa. In this Katha, just long story short, there are two sisters from previous birth, Tara Rani, and the name of the other sister is Rukman. So Rukman is basically poor, and Tara Rani is a rich. She is a Maharani. She is a rich queen. So so Rukman wants to have Jāgaraṇ at her house, and she belongs to a Chamar caste. So she doesn't have. Even the Pandit asks her that, I'll perform Jāgaraṇ in the mandir for you. I won't come to your home. Then Tara Rani asks her that she'll perform the Jāgaraṇ. She'll come to her home, even though she's Chamar, and she'll do all the rites, all the rituals, and she actually goes to her house and perform the Jāgaraṇ. So in this way we can say that how through this story, the story is trying to convey that there is, the liminal space that that Jāgaraṇ is trying to create. It kind of evades caste and class prejudices. It evades caste and class. Everyone is coming together. It's homogeneous. So this also. But finally, I would like to end my presentation with the point that, all this is being commercialized in this era. These all rituals are being commercialized. Even when I attended Jāgaraṇ, I could see that, people were more inclined toward collecting money. For every ritual, they would ask you to, to donate some money after every ritual. So it has become more commercialized. So people cannot actually afford to have a Jāgaraṇ ceremony at their home, because it is very costly, which is a thing we should provide a liminal space to people, a syncretic space to people, but they can't, because it's very costly. So how could they, how will it survive? And the way it has taken a shape in this era is very different from the one it used to be before. So yeah, so with this I would end my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Komal, for sticking to time. I think that was a very outstanding presentation, and definitely we will have room for questions towards the end. And I think we will now have Yashasvi Gaur. Is that right?
No, ma'am, Gayatri Suri.
Gayatri.
Yeah.
So we'll have Gayatri, or we'll have Yashasvi? We'll have Yashasvi. Gayatri, okay. All right. Then the next presentation by Gayatri. Corporeal, yes, that's the one. Corporeal Gods, Politics of Power Through Ritual in Kullu Dashera Festival by Gayatri Suri, Research Scholar, Punjab University, Chandigarh.
Yes, thank you so much,
Over
ma'am.
to you.
Okay, am I audible?
Gayatri, you have 15 minutes. You can start.
Yes, you're audible.
Sure, thank you so much. So I'd just like to start with the title. So my topic is corporeal gods, which means living gods and their bodies, and politics of power through ritual in the Kullu Dashera festival. So I'd like to start off with what exactly is the Kullu Dashera. So this festival originated in the 17th century when Raja Jagat Singh was undergoing a disease, and he was not able to cure it. No deity in the region was able to cure it, no Devta or Devi. So someone suggested to him to bring the Lord Raghunath or the Lord Ram idol from Ayodhya. Now somehow he acquired it, and because his disease was cured, then deities started arriving from all over the region, the Upper Himachal region, to pay their respects on the Shera. It's a 7-day long festival, and it takes place in the Dhalpur ground in Kullu district of Himachal Pradesh. So you can see the picture over there, and that's the palanquin right in the middle is Lord Raghunath's, and surrounding them are the palanquins of the other deities. So, so the objective of my study is to explore the role of the three bodies specifically of the Devi or the Devta, the Deolu, and the Gur in the reinforcement of societal power play in the Upper Himachal region through the annual Kullu Dashera festival. So the three bodies that I'll be talking about are, number one, as I introduced you, the Devi and the Devta. And there are total about 200, 300 of them which travel to Kullu for this festival. But all over Himachal Pradesh, there are about 2,000 to 3,000 of them, and they are all considered living gods. And I'll get back to that through a video later. So the second body is that of the Gur, who is the translator or the transmitter of the messages that are conveyed by the Devta. And he is literally possessed by the Devta in order to convey these messages. So the third body is that of the Deolu. As you can see, the people carrying the Devta on their shoulders are known as the Deolu. So I'd like to start off with establishing how Foucault's theory of body and power relates to ritual in the sense of the Kullu Dashera. So it was not a coincidence that his theory of the disciplines emerged in the 17th century, and where he talks about how disciplines like the prison and the clinic and the hospital and everything originated in the 17th century through social practice. Now, one of these disciplines is also religion. And I find that religious rituals are one such social practice that really reinforce religious beliefs and also cultural values. And one of the ways to do this is through inscribing them on the body of the Devis and the Devtas again and again. So the Devis and Devtas have been around for longer than for eons, even before the establishing of the Kullu Dashera. So, but what brought them together was the Lord Raghunath temple, the Lord Raghunath idol coming over from Ayodhya, and so essentially when they all conglomerated in one space, which is the Dhalpur ground, that was a very you can say a political statement wherein these beliefs are reinforced yearly, annually, and not just to the believers, but also to the world, because it has now become an international heritage event. So when the visitors witness these events, they are also forced to somehow either questions or traditional understandings of culture or the body are questioned. And so I'd like to start off with the body of the deity or the Devta. And I'd like to start off with a small video. The